Command has been given. Crank him up.
Let's go. When I say I don't know, I don't know.
Let's go, baby.
Now, the morning drive.
Buckle up, everybody.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
It's a game changer.
I listen to you guys every single day on my way to work.
Well, again, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the radio.
You guys are amazing.
What are you doing over there?
I'm going to the top.
The morning drive with Mike Bagley and Pete Pistone.
To the bat balls.
Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 live and on the air for this Thursday, March 9th, 2023. Mike Bagley here in Del Marvolo, Studio 1D. We've got Pistol Pete Pistone in the Paisan Palace in Chicago. We've got Sammy and Melvin in Studio 134 of the Beltway Bureau at our nation's capital. We welcome each and every one of you to this Thursday morning, and happy Friday Eve to you, Triple P.
Good morning, Bagman. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday Eve to one and all. A little bit closer to the racing weekend in Phoenix, and lots going on here. A busy time in the month of March. How's about you, darling? How's everything there on the East Coast?
Things are good. We have settled into, high 48, low 31, 32. We got a couple of systems going to move through, which will set up crockpot opportunities for this weekend. The first of which will happen tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. The other is Monday. So actually, I've been plotting things out to try a couple new things around here because it's going to be just a sloppy day tomorrow, and get the crock pot going early and have that nice work from home feel even after we get off the air tomorrow. Got some things to do around the house here and just kind of chill, but make sure that we will be appropriately nourished over the course of the next handful of days or so.
Very important indeed. As you say that, I'm looking. It seems like every Friday now, this will be the third Friday for us here in Chicago, we get told there's a potential for a winter storm. And we've got the same thing happening here tonight and tomorrow. Now, this is more of the, like you said yesterday, not like a giant snowstorm, but that wintry mix and that slushiness that's supposed to start tonight and go over to tomorrow. And then the weekend's supposed to be kind of okay. So again, it's like we get that one day where you get that taste of spring. So I went out and got the newspaper before we started the show, like I always do, Tony Soprano style, ended the driveway with the robe open, and it's getting a little light outside. Our conversation yesterday after Saturday night, that's going to go away. The birds, Baggy, chirping like mad out there. They're so happy because they feel like it's spring and the sun's coming up. I hate to break the news to them. They're going to go back in the dark here in about 3 days.
Well, we have a similar situation to where our birds are very active because it's now when we're going to hit the reset button. So like right now it would be 8 o'clock Eastern time, this time next week.
Yeah.
Well, the sun will come up a little bit around the same time. It'll get lighter longer now, obviously, with us moving the clocks. And again, for all of you that may have forgotten, this Saturday night is when clocks go forward. 2 a.m., shove them forward. Or I guess everything is, well, this is where you have to have trust that those devices that are to automatically change do change.
Yes.
When this happens to me in November, it's horrifying because even though our clocks don't change in Arizona, you're still changing numbers behind East Coast time. Everybody else changes, they don't. But if you're in a spot to where it's like you got to get up in the morning, got a flight, hope this iPhone updates, hope that alarm goes off when it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. So before you go to bed, for those things like the microwave and whatever that don't change, put them forward, and we'll see if everything changed over the way it should on Sunday morning when we get up.
Or you just be like my wife and never change it from the year ago, so now her clock is finally back on the correct time, as opposed to being on the wrong time for the last however many months that she's just left it. So annoying.
These are the two times I hear from my mom, like on Friday, because she's already worried about pushing the clock forward this weekend and pushing it back in the fall. I said, Mom, a lot of what you just said, Baggy, a lot of what you're talking about, your iPad, your iPhone, that'll do it automatically. So it's just the one thing that she has in her townhouse that's a little bit of a pain in the dupa. Oh, sorry, I said that word again. Is that she has it's not a grandfather clock, but it's on the wall and it has a pendulum to it and it chimes every hour. Getting that to go back is not easy because you can't go back because you screw up the gears. So you got to go 11 hours forward, 13 to get it to where it needs to be. So that's a little bit of a process I'll have to handle over the weekend.
So it's not just hit the button once and you go forward an
No.
hour?
You got to actually manually. This is like, and it's I don't want to say it's an heirloom, but it's something that they've had. My mom and dad had, and it's got a lot of sentimental value to it. So I got to be careful with that one. That's all I need to do is to jack that up, and I'm really in trouble this weekend.
See, when Mom was with us, she wouldn't touch her clocks. That would be something that she would want me to come to the house to do.
Exactly.
Can you? We're in June, right? And Mom, why is the hour off in the bedroom? You know what? Can you change that for me, Mom? All you have to do is hit the hour button once. Bam, done. No. Well, you know what? I don't know how to work those newfangled things. Okay, Mom, it's a button. It says hour. Hit it. It's like, come on.
Yeah. I stopped fighting that dead horse.
Get it. Hit it.
You know what? I'll come over. We'll have toast. We'll change your clocks, and we'll make a little outing out of it. Right?
And we'll watch QVC and David Venable.
I've acquiesced, and I'm just like, whatever. I'm not going to try to explain it to you at this point. Speaking of clocks, I got home a little late last night. I was down at the United Center covering the first day of the men's basketball tournament for the Big Ten. Got home about midnight last night. So a little shorter sleep.
Look at you on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, exactly. And not surprisingly, here in the big city, going down there late in the afternoon was a nightmare. It was just a lot of traffic. Coming home last night, 38 minutes. The same route was like half the time getting back last night. But a couple of upsets last night. March Madness is off and running, and looking forward to that. And lots of discussion around here about obviously what's happening here this summer in Chicago. Saw some of the media folks that I haven't seen in a while, and they were asking me about that yesterday. So it was nice. Haven't been to the United Center this came up yesterday, boys. 3 years ago, everything got shut down because of COVID. This was the weekend, even though on the calendar the date is different because it was the Atlanta race weekend where you were. But this was 3 years ago yesterday that the Big Ten shut down its tournament. All the other tournaments shut down, sports shut down, and basically the country shut down. It's hard to believe that's been 3 years now.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I happen to be going through my photos and videos like in my computer, and I stumbled across, remember the video I did with Millie, Louie, and Lexi where Millie got nailed? I was doing the play-by-play of the dogs around the pool.
Yes.
3 years ago, next Sunday.
Hard to believe.
Matter of fact, that's a reminder for it right there.
Didn't you make the news on that? Did that NBC play that?
Everybody picked that up. And I have no idea how they got a hold of it, but they did. So I'm going to repost that. And that was our journey into COVID. What are you laughing at, Sammy?
You should. It was great.
I went back and looked at my pictures from my phone from March 9th, 2020. I can't post this one, but I'm going to send it to you two, and I think you will both get a very good chuckle out of this one.
Okay. Now, please do, Sam.
This is also Scott and I had started painting their house right before this started, and I remember the conversation went along the lines of, "Wow, you're off the air." And I'm like, yeah. He says, well, just because those microphones have gone silent doesn't mean these paint rollers have. So get on over here.
You know what? It's a priority. Get over here. Yeah. It was, it was just obviously very surreal. I just remember I was in Indianapolis, and I was like, I got to the stadium after our show, and I was like, what's going on? Everybody's standing outside. I thought there was a fire.
No.
I swear to God. We just got Sammy's.
I told you I can't share.
Oh, yeah.
Don't send that out.
Yeah. No, don't send that out. No, that's a good one. But it was, it was hard.
Sorry, folks. We don't like to do. We just can't send this out. But I remember that.
I remember that
3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that too. But anyway, I remember Matt saying, listen, just come back. And I drove back, and you were in Atlanta, and you tried to figure out how to get home, and it was just wow. But anyway, that was brought up yesterday when I was
We made it. We're fine.
3 years. It's more about the three. I mean, still horrible and terrible, and, it's not completely in the rearview mirror and all that, but 3 years ago. I mean, man alive, Baggy. It just like that. Just goes by like that. So
I think one of the most there were a lot of weird things about that whole time. I think, though, for me and how it pertains to us is that first time that I went back to the racetrack and nobody was there. Like nobody except just us. I mean, no fans milling around in the midway. You look up the grandstands, empty. Like the one that, like Homestead was one of the tracks that I drove down because when I was living in Lauderdale, I drove down and just being in there in that environment, but that key element of the fans missing. And then remembering how, okay, all right, so we're going to try to go back here. We can have fans here. We can't have fans there. You can have 20% there. You can't have any there. Yeah, and it was that whole, because obviously Darlington was the first back, and then I wasn't able to go because the Charlotte crew were driving back and forth. A lot of people don't know that, but when we went back to racing, we were not permitted to stay in hotels.
No.
So the Charlotte crew would drive to Darlington, and they would drive back and forth every day. And then we had rainouts, and we were punting races.
Yeah.
And it was just that whole, just totally bizarre, surreal experience. And then it was something when we, finally got some fans back, like 20%, whatever. And then when we finally got, all right, open them up, let's go. Finally, we can get back to normalcy. And to me, that was one of the last things to return to normal, was getting a full house, because it took us a while to do that. And then now we have all things open now. So glad that we're back and we have recovered and we navigated that the way we did. It was some tough sledding back then.
It was horrible, it was scary. And the two things for me that stand out, that Darlington race that you mentioned, Kevin Harvick winning the race, standing in victory lane with the mask on and the birds chirping behind him.
That's right.
It was so strange. And, a little peek behind the curtain, what everybody did here at SiriusXM and our channel and all of our sports channels to get back on the air in some way, shape, or form. It took a little MacGyvering, but we were able to do it. I think, were we off one day? I think we were only off the air completely one day. And this company, everybody pulled together to figure out a way to get on the air with at least something in terms of live and unique programming, and we did it. And that was very, very strange.
I remember I MacGyvered my board, and I somehow, like, when we went on the air podcast style, was pre-recorded, but to get the interviews that we got, I had to take my cell phone, plug it into this cable, into the board, and then into another plug, and then bring you in through Zoom and bring that. And it was just like, literally, my office was just destroyed, like, because I had to rewire everything. Hey, but you know what? We got on the air. That's all that matters.
We did. What was funny about that
pretty.
Not everybody up and down of all of our sports channels could do that. So it was like, if you could be a connected person, they would ask you to do, for me, other stuff. And that's fine. I had no problem doing it. But to your point, you were able to do that. John Jansen, when he was working with us on Big Ten, he did the same thing. He said he MacGyvered it, and once they figured out he could do it, hey, John, can you do this? Can you do that? Becky got a lot of that, too, because you were, see, there you go. You're electronic and technical genius, kind of, I don't know what it did. Made you a hero. Look at you go.
Well, you know what? It just got us all on the air. But
it did.
It
was strange.
Man.
Anyway, yeah.
Wow.
So,
and here we are.
Here we are. Talking yesterday again, the Phoenix weekend. I know I saw some pictures of some folks going back out. You talk about back and forth when the Charlotte crew had to go up to Darlington. Man, this West Coast swing has been interesting because I know we've been doing it for a while, but when you look at the logistics and the back and forth and the wear and tear that these teams have to have, it's a lot. It is. Next year's going to be interesting. I saw a conversation yesterday. What is the West Coast swing going to look like next year? Because we know Auto Club Speedway is not going to be part of that. Our two races, if they just went Phoenix and Vegas, is that a swing? Would they add another race? What would you add? So there's some questions. And yesterday I know Jordan Bianchi, when we were talking to him a couple of days ago, Steve Phelps has said this. The 2024 schedule is going to look a little more different than even what we've got today. So that'll be interesting to see where the West Coast swing fits into that. I like the West Coast swing. I think it's a great idea to bundle up some races out that way. But we're going to be down for at least a couple of years, Baggy, as you know, one track out there with Auto Club.
Well, this part of the West Coast swing, I don't think a majority of the teams mind, because this past week, a lot of those folks have stayed in Las Vegas. Now, you got the race done, working on the car, and everything swung over. And then, of course, at night, either you swing down, you check out, David Copperfield, or you check out Donny Osmond, or you go over to Penn and Teller.
Oh my God.
David Blaine, Carrot Top. By the way, he is still performing. He's performing at the Luxor.
He is. Somebody
Terry
sent me
Fader.
a picture. Terry Fader, who sang the national anthem, did a pretty good job on Sunday, I thought.
Wayne Newton's out there.
Really?
The Magic Dragon. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, so you've had an opportunity for the teams to stay out there and not really mess themselves up. Listen, going out one day and then coming back the next or the next couple of days, it sends your body through all kinds of tizzies, man. You don't know when time to go to sleep. It's amazing how dependent your body is on its surroundings, and the time of day and things of that nature. But at least when the checker flag flies on Sunday, everybody will migrate back east. And then, coming up, I mean, we got COTA, which, dipping into the central time zone, pretty good. Next time we go out west will be Sonoma in June. So teams will be getting back to some degree of normalcy after hitting the ground running, starting off at Daytona, and then running right out west right after that.
Well, the other thing this weekend, and I've been watching I just have it on here in the office when I'm in.
Hang on a second. I don't want to be corrected. We had the Clash out west, back for Daytona, then back out west. Well, so really 4 West Coast races in about 6 weeks.
Okay, but that's another point about everybody went out that way, came all the way back, and then they're going out again. So you're right. There's a lot of stress.
Right.
The other good thing, it hasn't exactly been Chamber of Commerce weather for the first 2 weekends of the West Coast swing. It looks to be the case this weekend. I've been watching some spring training baseball. The weather looks really good in Arizona this weekend. Everybody deserves that, to have some nice weather for the last race of the West Coast swing.
Matter of fact, everybody, stick a toe into Uncle Baggy's Weather Center. We check the weather for the greater Phoenix metropolitan area. Let's see here. Today, high of 76, low of 51. Tomorrow, high of 81, low of 60. Saturday, high of 81, low of 58. Sunday, high of 81, low of 56.
Perfect.
The most percent chance of rain we have is 3%, and that's Saturday and Sunday, and that's in case, Mother Nature wants to just do a little and then move on, but I think that's a formality. So you're going to be good to go. Mostly sunny skies every day, warm temperatures, and to me, perfect weather to wrap up the West Coast swing this year.
This is one of my favorite times to be in Arizona. I mean, before I was working full-time in NASCAR, we would take trips out there around this time of the year just to get out of the city here and get out of the weather that we have, watch a little baseball, and if you do that this weekend, you got a lot of racing to watch at Phoenix Raceway.
Coming up, bottom of the hour, we'll give you headline check number 1. We're going to wrap up the TMD 6-pack. Well, first of all, we have a lot of things. We have had a lot going on this week, and there are some things we haven't gotten to that we're going to button up at the bottom of the hour. Also, we're going to button up the CMD 6-pack. We wanted to go cardboard deep yesterday, but we couldn't get there because of all the other things that we've been navigating this week. So we'll do that. Coming up at 8:30, we'll visit with David Gilliland, the owner of Tricon Garage. 5 teams in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, 7 drivers so far, with more drivers waiting in the wings. We're going to talk to David about how that's working out, the approach, the future, and a lot of things with, the owner of the biggest operation in the Truck Series. Coming up at 8:50 this morning, we'll have the calendar for you. Coming up at 10:30, we'll visit with Austin Hills crew chief over at RCR, Andy Street. We'll stop by, and we're with you until 11 a.m. in the East. We'll take your telephone calls at 866-BIT-LANE, and we'll also take your tweets at SiriusXM NASCAR, hashtag TMD NASCAR. TMD brought to you in part by our friends at Circuit of the Americas. NASCAR returns to Circuit of the Americas in Austin with more racing, more entertainment, and more fun. March 24th through 26th, it's 3-day motorsports phenomenon that features a monster road course with 20 turns, dramatic elevation changes over 3.41 miles. Fancy footwork is mandatory. Body blows are guaranteed. And in the end, grit and determination will earn stars their stripes. This affordable weekend kicks off with Fivo Friday, followed by a double feature Saturday that includes the Expel 225 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race and the Pit Boss 250 presented by USA Today NASCAR Xfinity Series race. The weekend culminates with the can't-miss Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix, and that'll feature NASCAR superstars like Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, Kevin Harvick, and of course, defending race winner Ross Chastain. It's more than just racing. Experience the free camper party Friday night, along with the ATX barbecue cook-off. Plus, check out the Fan Zone all weekend, featuring the Lone Star sideshows and so much more. Then, Sunday, 3-time Grammy winner Darius Rucker headlines the pre-race concert. Go to NASCAR at COTA.com for all the details and to purchase your tickets.